Hi, this is Mr. West, and today we are doing a walkthrough video for multiplying by tenths and hundredths, sheet 2. This is from Math-Salamanders.com. If you want to check out more Math-Salamanders videos, obviously browse the website, but I also have a playlist in the description below for my walkthrough videos, and also there's a little icon at the end you can click. So what is this all about? This is multiplying by tenths and hundredths to whole numbers, and also decimals. So it gives us a great first example. 3 times 4 is 12. We know that. So what happens when we change it to a 0.3? Real simple process here. We just move the decimal place. So if you imagine there's like a decimal right here. If we have a decimal one place over from that 3, okay, so if there's a decimal right there, we moved it 1 over, then it's going to be moved over 1 from the 12 also, okay? So as you can kind of visualize there, we move that over and now it becomes 1.2. But you'll notice that this base 12 stays the same even though we have like 0.03 and 0.3. Because we have the 3 and the 4, it stays as like that base of 12, that 1, 2. It's just the decimal place that we move over, okay? So it gives us 2 examples or a couple examples. We have 3 times 0.06. So if we multiply 3 times 6, we get 18. That's where that base comes from. But since it's 0.06 and not just 6, we need to move the decimal place over 1, 2 times. See how we moved it twice for that 0.06? Well, then we have to do the same thing with 18. Here's 18.0. Move it over 1, 2 times. It becomes 0.18. Same principle applies when we multiply 6 times 6. We get 36. Okay, but then we have to move it over twice, so it becomes 0.36, okay? So now let's get into some examples. So we have 7 times 6. I know that's 42. I'm just going to write the 42 down first, okay? But now, because it's 0.06, move it over twice, boom, boom. There's my decimal, put a 0 in front, and that's it. That's all there is to it. It's really not that bad. So if we could just go through some of these, I know this is 24, I know this is 30, I know this is 9 times 6 is 54, and then 12, okay? And then because I moved the decimal place over, this is what it's going to look like. Now, 0.30, we can actually change it to just be 0.3. If there's 0 after it, technically we don't need to write it down. Now, moving on to number 2, it's 0.5 now. So instead of just moving over, instead of moving over twice, we're just going to move it over once. This is basically the same thing as base 5, 5.0, but we moved the decimal place over 1 time. As you can see, we have the base number 15, okay? 3 times 5 is 15, but we not only have the 5 that's moved over once, we have the 3 that's moved over once, which is why 15 had to be the combination of that, which is twice, moved over twice, okay? So that's, if you're multiplying a decimal by decimal, that's a rule you must follow. So 6 times 5, I'm going to write 30 down, just like it was over here, but I only need to move it over once. So this is going to become 3, okay? So if I moved over from 30, that's once, and it becomes 3.0, okay? If you want to write 3.0, that's fine, but it's 3, same thing. So now we have 7 times 5, that's 35. Now here's the deal with this one, because this is a decimal moved over 1 place from its base, and this is a decimal moved over 1 place also. I need to move it over twice for the combination of the two, so 0.35 multiplying those decimals. Multiplying decimals is really not that bad. So I have 4 times 0.5. I know that's 20. I move it over once, and that becomes 2.0. Another way of thinking of it is 0.5 is half. So if you want to find half of these numbers, that's what you're going to get. Okay, so 2.5 is going to be this one because 25, move it over once. This one's going to be 45, but I need to move it over twice. And then this is going to be 1, or 5 times 2 is 10. 1.0, that's where that 10 comes from, okay? This is similar. I'm going to go over number 3 and maybe a couple more. So similar process here. We just do 7 times 2, move it over twice, because this is moved over twice. But this one's a little tricky because it gives us the end result, so we have to go backwards. We actually have to do division. So a way we can do this is we can just imagine 4 divided by this 2. Okay, and I know that's 2, but now we need to decide if we need to move over the decimal place or not. So we ended up with this 0.04. This was already moved over twice. So if I multiplied 2 times 2, I would get 4, and then I'd move it over twice. 4 moved over twice is 1, 2, okay, 0.04. So I did get 2 is the correct answer there, and I'll show you why it's not 0.02 or 0.2. So it's not 0.2 because we'd multiply 2 times 2, that's our base, 4, and then we need to decide how many times we need to move the decimal over. There's 1, 2 there, plus another 1 there, that'd be 3. So 1, 2, 3, that would be too many zeros, okay? So that's why it's not 0.2, it's just 2, okay? So those ones are a little bit tricky, but it's really not that bad. Here we have base 6, move it over twice, 1, 2, 0.06 for that one. Okay, and that's what all these are going to be. So we have 18, it's going to move over twice, 1, 2. Okay, this one, it's going to be 6 times 2, or 12 divided by 2 is 6. We need to decide if we need to move it over. It's only moved over 1, 2 times. That accounts for that. So that we're good there. We don't need to move it over for this one at all. It's just going to stay 6. 8 times 6 is 16. Moved over twice. We're good there. And then 4 times 2 is 8. And we need to move over twice. 1, 2. 0.08. Okay. And that's it. I mean, some of these might be a little bit more tricky, but honestly, they're pretty straightforward. These are probably going to be the easiest ones just because you just write the same number again and then move it over 2 times. Okay, so 0.03 would be the answer there. And then this one's just going to be 5 because it's moved over twice. Okay, and that's it. That's really all there is to this video. If you have any more questions on 4 through 9, let me know. Leave a comment. I'll be happy to help you with that. Again, make sure to click on the end screen for the Math-Salamanders playlist, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Wes Explains Best.